Hey everybody, this is Grace. If you hear a little rustling around, it's my little buddy. It's a little joke, inside joke, but it's my puppy. He's a year old now, an American Pit Bull Terrier. So yeah, so he might be. He's in the back, well, the middle seat, and my SUV. So he might make some noise every once in a while. I haven't taken him out enough. And I want to train him on how to ride with me peacefully. He's much more peaceful than the other one we've tried. And tried, what, 2 years now? And he just doesn't sit down. He gets all crazy with it. But anyway, just a little bit of a real life thing right there. It usually happens during the video. So who knows? We'll see if it does. But I want to talk about something that is really very disturbing to me that I've been seeing online, and I've not just seen this in one place, one social media platform over the years. I've been online with anything that you would call social media platform since 1990. So I've seen plenty over all these years. Okay, so what I've seen quite a bit of, pardon the blinkers, is this of the people who are very superficial. I mean, very superficial. These are all my opinions. Read the disclaimers below this video on YouTube. I'm not diagnosing anybody with any kind of personality disorder. Behaviors that I've seen may fall under behavioral disorders, but I'm not diagnosing anybody. Anyway, these are my opinions, and opinions, of course, can be wrong. But it's based, I am a social and behavioral scientist. So anyway, what I've seen is the people who are very superficial, and they're superficial about, I don't know if there's anything that they're not superficial about. Okay, let's just put it that way. Many things they are superficial about, like their own appearance, like other people's appearances, how people are dressed, they look, their nonverbals, whatever it is. They're also hypocrites. The hypocrisy is so thick. But they expect these other people to be like perfect, like they think of as perfect. Okay, the superficial people, toxic people. And they expect them, anybody else, everybody else, themselves and everybody else, to be the way that they think is the right way to be, but they're not that way. And let me give an example. Imagine a woman who, these are people that are online, just people online, and you see their videos, okay, on any social media platform they can put them on, whatever it is, and they're doing things like this. This one really gets to me. It is gross, and even mentioning it to me is gross. So I'm not trying to be a hypocrite myself, but I have to talk about it in order to give that example. But they have bad, really poor hygiene habits, and they show themselves on video. Their upper portion, and they'll do these things like they'll rub their nose with the back of their hand. No Kleenex, nothing like that. They just keep rubbing it and rubbing it and rubbing it. And they'll pull on, some will pull on it, some will stick their pinky in their ear, on and on. Okay, some of them, even while they're doing deliveries, they're working for delivery services, and while they're delivering, sneeze with no Kleenex or anything, any kind of tissue paper, cloth, whatever. No, they just sneeze right on the bags. And they're not doing it on purpose. It's just, it doesn't seem that way. It's just their behaviors are this way. They have poor hygiene habits, and they don't think. Okay, now imagine that type, that you see it on video repeatedly. Repeatedly. Time after time, and like practically once every video. And yet they're giving people advice on how to, on like hygiene. Or they're saying, oh, they're watching somebody else's video and they're showing it on their own video. They're saying, oh, gross, she wiped her hand with her back of, her nose with the back of her hand. Well, what do you do? They do it themselves. But that's just part. Okay, that's showing more of the hypocrisy and all that. But they have an attitude of, superiority, yet they do these things themselves. Okay, that's part of it. Now, another one is, the superficial thing is they focus so much on things like, they focus so much on things like, if they do them at home, how their home looks, every little thing, they think that it has to be perfect and in order. And sometimes the way they do it, and these are grown adults, all these are adults, grown, like, let's say older adults, let's say it's in their, let's say 40s, 50s and up, and they design it more like somebody just starting out, in the world. Some of them, and this is not a one-size-fits-all on any of these. Some do, some don't. You get it. But they do it like they would have done in the high school or in their early 20s, with some kind of theme that I can recall being popular back then. And yeah, people liked certain things. I was always shocked when I was young. I was married young. I was married when I was 18. And this was like 40 years ago. And I was surprised when people my age, whatever age it was, they would do themes like, their whole kitchen was strawberries, and to me, it just never went that way. I don't care. I think that's kind of cute. I'm not saying anything bad about that. Like they liked owls. There was crustaceans. Let's see, what else did I see? My dad, he was a carpenter, and then he lost one of his legs to diabetes, and he had his own little carpentry shop out front, and he started doing woodwork. But he learned that if he painted things like, he did woodwork, carving and stuff, and painted, back then it was cows, black and white cows, and bunnies and geese, these kinds of things. He would sell a lot of arts and crafts, and he did. He sold a lot because those were the themes back then. And yeah, I just never got into it myself. I just didn't. My more would be make sure that try to make sure. I never was successful. Not too successful. Like the can opener matched the toaster, which we hardly ever use toaster, so something like that was matching in color, and that was basically it. And you should see it now. But I'm not very superficial, and I'm not saying anybody who does that is superficial. Some people just like a theme, like they like that, whatever. But some people take it to an extreme, and then that's everything. Like I said, I don't know what's not about them that they're really highly obsessed with what is superficial. Okay, I'll put it that way. And it's just one thing that adds to it, one more thing, and that can include, does include the way they look, the way they dress. I already said this, and also their weight, which I'm not saying they're anorexic. As far as I know, they're not. But yeah, and into your 40s, 50s, 60s, and that's your focus is how skinny you are. And never talk about a doctor, what a doctor says. They never mention that. What does the doctor say? Is that healthy what you're doing? I don't know. I'm not a healthcare professional, so I'm not going to pass judgment that way. Socially, behaviorally, yeah. Not passing judgment, just stating. But there's another one. They say they don't pass judgment. They pass judgment on everything. These superficial things, especially, oh my goodness, over and over and over again. They're passing judgment, but they don't pass judgment according to them on anybody. They're all so laid back and yeah, but no, they keep passing judgment. Okay, but in this, really, I am trying to just say things matter of fact. Of this is how, not trying to be judgmental. Well, in a way, I am. I admit to it. But there's some reason I'm saying it. It's because of this about being so superficial and expecting other people. They expect other people to go by how they are superficial. They expect other people to be superficial, and in their way, they run the show. They know what people are supposed to do, as far as anything that's superficial, how they're supposed to be. I'm getting to where this, to a point here, adding, a little background to it first. Okay, I was going to go to a place, but it was blocked off or something. So now I have to think about that. But anyway, okay, so they have, now I'm not talking about things that a person should do, as far as, like I was saying, they're not, like, yeah, you don't go wiping your nose with the back of your hand, and then I would say don't do it anyway, but I'm not, in that. But I use tissue paper myself. But then they'll like go show themselves shopping or something and sticking their hands after they've wiped it with their nose, their hand with their hand, their nose with their hand, and sticking it on things, touching things, rolling their hands in bins of stuff, putting their hands into the bins. Or like I was saying, sneezing, no Kleenex, nothing on top of stuff, putting their finger in their ear, this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's bad. But I'm not talking necessarily about the ones I'm talking about that are superficial. Okay. They're not really always pointing out things like that. That, that's not always good. I mean, that's bad. Period. No, but they're talking more of things like how a person, what weight a person should be, what, as in stating, they should be like them, and when theirs might not be healthy, you see. Okay, let me get to this part. I do not like this term. It's a derogatory term to call it fat shaming, because just the word fat used in this context is so negative. Okay, and then these are people who do this. They claim they don't, of course, but they do. These are the ones that, are, yeah. And they do that with anybody they think is too big. And of course, it's according to them how these people should be. And, like I said, what does the doctor say about your weight? Being small, so small. What does the doctor say is healthy for you? They never mention it. Like I said, they never mention asking a doctor what kind of diet they should be on. So, but they know what's right for everybody else. And if they see a big woman, okay, there is a case in point, case to this. They see somebody who is online and is or people who are online and they're very popular, but they're also large, obese, just overweight they can be to obese. And they, maybe they see something, that this person does something wrong here and there and all that, but what they focus on, what the, superficial people who are complaining about it, what they're focusing on is fat shaming. Is any time that they talk about this, they'll say things like, well, that fat cow, she doesn't. One of them even has had the nerve to say something along this line, paraphrasing, that there was a man in there, and he must have thought that because he's skinny that he deserves some hot, beautiful, skinny woman. But because his attitude is so awful, he's kind of abusive, therefore what he deserved was this obese woman. Can you believe that? Somebody would have the nerve to think and state it. And they continue like calling a person a fat cow, a dirty fat cow, or something like this. And but then they say, well, we don't fat shame. I don't like that term, fat shame. I'm really serious about that. I just don't. But to have the audacity to even state and judge a person by their size, in this, what does this say about this superficial person or people, these superficial people? It says a lot more bad about them, a lot more bad about them than it does the person they're fat shaming. We've known this since we were kids, right? Well, I would never do it myself anyway. It's just not something that I would do. And they do it repeatedly within, the same video. Some of them, repeatedly. Some of them do this. But they don't fat shame. You know, they'll say that they don't. Repeatedly do it. And it's like they get this adult mean girl kick out of it. You know, oh, they're more snarly and snarky, and well, I guess those are the two words. I think, you know, pretty much mean the same, or do they? But they get all their thrills because they're able to take all of that. Let's speculate what happens. They take all of their anger out on somebody who's bigger than they. I don't even like to say bigger. Somebody's overweight, you know, or obese. So they get all their anger out. Plus, keep speculating all through this video. They maybe they're jealous because that, what, you know, like in this one, that person is very, like I said, those people, these large ones, they're very popular. They get a lot of money from making their videos. They're very popular. And the superficial ones, the one that spends so much time on their home, especially their appearance, you know, lots of thick makeup, and he may even show how they put their makeup on like they're a guru, as if but they're not. And talk to people how you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, and you should do this and you should do that. They spend so much time on that, yet they're not at all popular. You see, so they get to take their anger out because in their brains, that's not how it's supposed to work. In their minds, that's not how it's supposed to work. You see? Okay, I had to stop and make a phone call. The place, as I mentioned, the place I was going to had it blocked off. And anyway, so where was I? But yeah, you know, people who are very superficial, and they truly believe that the more, you know, that if they make themselves, you know, like real skinny, and they do their makeup real thick, and you know, their clothing a certain way, their home a certain way, and all that it would make them popular. And well, no, not necessarily, because sometimes people can see your attitude, like that whole attitude of that, as if it's wrong, that as if somebody is large, that basically they only deserve people who are abusive, because you turn that around, and that's what it's saying, that's what they should expect. You know, if they're large, they should expect that. That is so false and so wrong and so superficial and so low life. Okay, I'm using that term, low life. I'm not saying low class, could be, but I'm saying low life for people to say that. You know? I mean, really, how dare they? What goes on in their head? Well, like I say, let's speculate. We're doing that in this video. Some of it's jealousy. Some of it is jealousy. Oh, I'm not going to get out on this road unless the traffic slows down quite a bit. You know? Oh, and of course, I don't like that word. Is it stragglers? It just sounds so, ugh. Well, now one side I could go, but the other one I can't because of one of those. Maybe I can get out here now. I'm going to do that. Oh, I dropped my mask on the floor in the process. Anyway, where am I here? Okay. Yeah. I don't come out much, so. Okay, you might not be able to understand me all that great. I'm wearing my mask. Actually, two. So, you know how they, anyway, I'm wearing two. Oh, I don't even know what that building is over there. What in the world is it? But real life happens. Hey, it has to happen at least once. But yeah, has me curious what these buildings out here are. Anyway, I'm waiting for my order. So our orders. So anyway, now some of these people, you know, like I said, they're very, very judgmental, and they will actually state it. They will actually state that they're not judgmental, and like within that same breath, they will say something that is very judgmental. And I'm talking like malicious gossip. Okay. Okay, that was going to be the third one that would ask me about my order, but she was kind of looking at my puppy. he has his head in the windows are up, but he's looking at him through the glass window. That's so cute. But anyway, so I got to that part. But the degree to which they want to take down anybody who doesn't fit their view of how, I mean, it's like a sick thrill. And it's as though you can actually see this sick thrill going through them when they think that they're going to do enough that they can fight and make that person's, account go down, or their views, their viewers, the amount of subscribers or viewers or followers or whatever it is. They get such a thrill out of it, thinking that they have control. They're looking for that power and control, and they laugh. The laughter usually is a cackle. It's not like a normal, everyday person laughter. It is a cackle. And they will even throw their head back as they laugh so loud that everything to them has to be loud. Most of them, many of them, if not all of them. I'm not one of those that says all or none and all that. I don't think like that. But you see what I'm saying? They will just unbelievably, that was kind of loud then, but the way that it's sick to see. It's so disgusting to see these, when it comes down to despicable people, and the thrill they get out of thinking that they are finally they're fighting the good fight within themselves, and they're winning by taking it out on somebody else. Okay, we're speculating here. Okay, they do that a lot. They do it a lot. They come up with that these other people they're all schemers, and their thing is just a scam and some kind of scam, whatever it is. And they come up with this, and it's like they're trying to solve some true crime story or something, and they come up with this person was doing that because of this reason, and the real reason behind all of it is this and that. Anything that they can do to make the people, they're fighting against, they're trying to humiliate, trying to downgrade, whatever it is, dehumanize even, all these, they'll come up with all kinds of stories. They make them up. They don't have any fact behind them. It's all speculation. I'm trying to talk loud through these two masks, and it is. It's all speculation. Okay? But they're going to put it out there. They make sure they put it out there, trying to get... Oh. Okay. I'm out of there. Boy, this stuff smells good. Little Bites. A truck of... Little Bites. That's what it's called. A truck. Oop, well, my safety belt's not orange. I am not one to forget it either. I took it off while I was sitting there. I gotta remember that my little buddy's back here. I drove up there and he kind of popped up and I was like, what? But anyway, so back to these people. I mean, really, could you imagine you're hearing what supposedly is grown adults, and you're hearing them say things like that a skinny man must, he has this entitlement that he's entitled to a young, not young, but a beautiful woman, a skinny, beautiful woman. And that's how they phrase it. You really have to pay attention that if she's skinny and beautiful, but because of his abusive behaviors, what he got and what he deserved, you see, was somebody who was obese or is obese. I mean, can you imagine, a nice person, can you imagine how their brain works all around and how they feel okay about saying these kinds of things and telling anybody who hops on and watches it? I mean, it's not like it's restricted to only certain people can watch it. Anybody could hop upon, chance upon it and watch it. And what is that putting out to young girls? What is it putting out to young men? What is it putting out to anybody that happens upon it? What kind of message is that? That's sick. That's despicable. Seriously. Okay. And also the whole thing behind them getting such a sick thrill, and all of the behaviors, all of them showing the world these kinds of behaviors as though that's how you're supposed to act whenever and that's what's, because, they're so superficial. They think they have, and they really think they have it all down pat. The way they think, the way they look, the way they have their home, the way everything is about them. They seem to think it's just perfect, and everybody should fall in line under the way that they see, the way that they are all around. They're the shining example. In my view, they're the shining example of what not to do, of what not to be. Now, I want to say something, like I said, this other, kind of example, the woman is, obese, and she's very popular, and these others are not. Well, maybe they're not because of all of this. Okay, good chance because of all these things, or some, maybe one. But I also have, over all these years, whenever I've been able to see something like this, I've noticed that some people are doing to them what they are doing to others. What superficial people are doing to others, all the maliciousness, the looking down upon them, acting superior. There may be some people who are watching them, the superficial people, because they're seeing it as though how often they are embarrassing themselves. They're proving themselves to be hypocrites. They're proving themselves to be superficial. They're proving themselves to be overall despicable. And people are watching them. Some may be, just thinking here. Some might be ones who do want to take them down. Find some reason to get them taken down. For them to lose their account or their whatever it is. Some people may. Some people don't want that kind of filth, and that's how they're going to see it. And they don't want that, and so they're going to find something in whatever to do so. They just don't want that to be the word out to girls that if you're not skinny, therefore, that is wrong. I don't understand how anybody can't see that. That is wrong. That all that you're worth is, that's their kind of thing. It's all that a person is worth according to them is superficial. A woman, a female, in their views. It's wrong. Every way, which way is wrong. So there's some people who say, I've had enough of this kind of crap. We don't want to, this to resurface. So many people had worked so many years on it. To where people don't judge people on, it's not sizeism, ageism, classism, racism, ableism, sexism. I already said that. On and on. That people don't judge by that. Judge people by their ethnicity. Racism. Okay. But you see, and people were turning on that, and then these kinds come back around, and they just verbally throw up this kind of stuff back up to the world to see of this is all that a woman's worth is mentality. And there are women doing this. God. Now, I don't like it when people say, well, women do it to themselves. Yeah, no, some of them do. I would say it's a small fraction. Okay? And there may be some proof behind that as you can obtain. They do that. That's why some people say, we're not going to have that exist on this platform. How dare they think that is welcomed? It's not. Now, I'm not saying they're going to get them taken down, because that seems like on many social media platforms, that's, that's just not the right thing to do, for one thing, because, people can, well, we hope some people can change and say, okay, yeah, I was making some mistakes, I'm going to stop doing that. Even if they still feel it in their heads, think it in their heads, but they say, well, God, I can't do that anymore like that, or I'm going to lose all that I worked toward. Okay, and there's some people who just wouldn't, like me, I wouldn't try to take somebody down for whatever reason, and quite often communities take care of themselves in that respect. They what it would be they get them suspended. Like if there's one of these, okay, now like if there is one of these times whenever that something big is happening, big, major situations happening for someone who is, large or obese. It used to be called largeism, okay, but that can be more than one thing. That could be height too. So, but so is sizeism. But anyway, where was I headed on this? There was so much going on right there at that corner. My brain went. But anyway, they can get them suspended. Like if there's something big going on, and like a lot of people are attacking one of these, people, because, and then they're throwing it in, and they may be attacking the, verbally attacking them because that they have done something that is wrong. Okay, but then a lot of it, like I said, is just speculation on the superficial people's part. Okay, now, so people are seeing some things that are disturbing to them or whatever, or they just say, oh, this is a great time, and you see them, man, they can't wait to get their own videos up about it, and their speculations up about it. They can't wait. And it's such a thrill to them to do so, and they're 24/7, 365, watching to see what they can steal from one another, their views, and put them up as though they're their own. And yeah, ad nauseum. But there are people out there who say, I don't want that kind of filth for the next generation or whatever to see, anybody to see. So they try to get them suspended, especially during something big like that. You see, that would be more of a big punishment. Oh, they can't spew all their hatred out because they're suspended during that time. Okay, and that hatred could be against themselves for what they bought into. What they bought into, a mentality of what their worth is all about, and therefore they try to make everybody else, behave like them, or they got screwed in the process because they listened that their worth is all about their appearance, all about their appearance, their appearance of their home. They should dedicate all their time and not eat like regular people, like what the healthcare professional, the doctor, the nurse, whatever it is, dietitian, nutritionist, said to do. No, they bought into what other people said to do. And they did you see that? I don't guess you did. It was a neat little motorcycle kind of thing. I don't know what they're called. I don't remember. But they bought hook, line, and sinker into it. And maybe they're ashamed of themselves for having done so. To see that was all that was their worth, and to continue living that way and trying to get others to pay the price and then also do it. Kind of sad. Yeah, but we're just speculating. Yeah, it might be true, might not be true. Who knows? Anyway, I'm wrapping it up. I'll talk to you in another video.